Knife finishes. Which finish should I get after I selected which knife I want? I'm Blind Thief. I'm going to be helping you answer this question by ranking all knife finishes, both by pure looks and also by value for money. Now, the website is using the M9 as a template, so I will be as well. It wouldn't be a Blind Thief tier list if I didn't get some stinkers out of the way at the very beginning. Now, F tier, we have Rust Coat, Safari Mesh, Forest DD-Pat, and Boreal Forest. In E tier, we have Black Laminate, Urban Masked, and Scorched. Now, if you have a white gem Urban Masked or a black gem Scorched, this is C or B, but majority of these two finishes are E tier. Value for money, F tier is F tier, Black Laminate is E tier, and just because of the possibility of black gem or white gem and also the combo potential, the Scorched and the Urban Mask are going into D. Now we are going to start with Vanilla. Now if you're looking for a clean finish or a budget finish, Vanilla is really nice. No one can argue that. You get just a perfect rendition of the knife that you're actually using. Vanilla is going B tier finish. Now, Vanilla is actually not as cheap as you might think, so it's going into B for value for money. The Fade is a classic finish. If it's on a smaller blade, you might only have purple and pink. If it's on a medium-sized blade, you might just have a little bit of that yellow, or you might, on a larger blade like this, have some white. So on large blades, I do think it's somewhat nerfed, but because it's pattern-based and the fade percentage will change how the skin looks, Fade is going into A tier. Now the Fade is slightly less expensive than the Doppler knives, a little bit more expensive than a Vanilla. For that Fade, value for money is going into B tier. Now the Black Pearl is a stunning rare gem. The purple is a little bit too deep for me. I really wish this was somewhat lighter, but it's still a rare gem. I'm going to be putting it top of A tier. Value for money, I'm putting it into F tier, along with all of the other gems. Now, gems could be several times more expensive than a standard Doppler, so if you're looking for value for money, don't buy a gem, especially Sapphire, because you could just get a Phase 4 for a fraction of the price, and it's only marginally worse. But with that, I'm going to do the other gems. Starting off with Ruby, this is absolutely gorgeous, bright and vibrant. I don't know why I knifed that wall, but Ruby is S tier finish. Emerald is absolutely gorgeous as well. It's really hard to decide between the Emerald and the Ruby. I think both are absolutely top tier. Depending on your loadout, one might beat out the other. I'm going to be putting both of them at the top. I think they're kind of tied. The Sapphire is beautiful as well, but it's not as good as the other gems. I think Sapphire has to be right below Black Pearl. The Phase 1 pink and blue is absolutely gorgeous. It fits into a lot of different inventories, and it doesn't feel like it's too much. You can get ones that are more pink, ones that are more blue. That's the nice thing about Doppler finishes that do have those multiple colors. Phase 1 is going A tier in front of the Fade. Phase 1 is on the cheaper end of the Dopplers. It's slightly more than the Fade, but you get a lot more value out of it. I'm putting it in B tier above the Vanilla. Phase 2 is one of my absolute favorites. This pink is just so vibrant and so beautiful. Phase 2 is our third S tier finish. Now it is more expensive than the Phase 1, but it is more value. I'm putting Phase 2 in A tier, value for money. Phase 3 with the blue and green is another vibrant Doppler. This is also amazing. I'm putting Phase 3 below Phase 1 and slightly below it in B tier, value for money. Now Phase 4 is absolutely gorgeous as well. I think this is better than Phase 3 and Phase 1 just because of the combo potential, and you can get some fake sapphires. I'm putting this right below Sapphire in A tier. Value for money, this is also A tier. Depending on the knife, you can get this for around the same price as the Phase 2, but there's crazy combo potential for it. On to our Gamma Dopplers. Starting off with the Gamma Doppler Phase 1, you get hints of purple, hints of blue, hints of green. I think Gamma Doppler Phase 1 for me is above the Sapphire. I do like it better actually. Now for Gamma Dopplers, depending on the knife, they could be more expensive or less expensive than the Doppler finishes. Because of that, it's really hard to do a value for money on the finishes, but I'm going to be putting all of the Gamma Dopplers in A tier. Phase 2 is a super vibrant green, super nice looking. You can get some fake emeralds. For that, Phase 2 is going into S tier. Phase 3, you start to get a little bit more blue, still super clean. And then Phase 4, you start to get a little bit more cyan. It's my least favorite of the Gamma Dopplers, but still all of them are really nice. I'm going to be putting the rest of them with the Phase 1. Marble Fade. Depending on the combo, the Marble Fade could either hit or fall so flat. If your gloves are super bright, then Marble Fade is a disgusting finish. But if you have very clean gloves, like the Nox, the Marble Fade can look absolutely stunning. I'm putting Marble Fade at top of B tier. Now, it's cheaper than all of the Dopplers and the Fade. I have to put Marble Fade top of A tier for value for money. The Freehand is a good budget purple option. It's pattern based, so some can look super nice, some can look really goofy, but it's a really cool graffiti aesthetic. I think the Freehand gets too much hate. Freehand to me is a B tier finish below the vanilla. Since you can usually get Freehand for pretty cheap, I think Freehand is our first S tier value for money finish. Now the Slaughter is okay. I like the pattern on the Slaughter, but I don't like the brighter red in it. For some reason, the pair of the two reds just throws me off. Now I don't think this is the worst finish, but it's not my personal favorite. I'm putting it into C tier. The Slaughter is not very good value for money. It's usually around the same price, slightly cheaper than the Fade. I have to put Slaughter D tier value for money. The Tiger Tooth, I think, is Slaughter done better. If you have a yellow loadout, Slaughter can look really nice. It's kind of hard to combo with the gloves, so you have to keep that in mind. But it's still a really clean finish. I think Tiger Tooth is better than the Freehand in B tier. I think Tiger Tooth looks nicer than Slaughter, and it's usually less expensive. I have to put it top of A tier value for money. The Blue Steel is a very interesting aesthetic. It's a very dark colored skin with some splotches on it. Now I think it looks okay, just the pattern that you see kind of throws me off as well. Blue Steel is C tier above the Slaughter. Now, you can usually get Blue Steel for pretty cheap. I'm going to be putting it top of B tier. And looking at the rest of this tier list, I think I am going crazy. I have to be putting Vanilla in S tier. I don't know what I was thinking. This is actually top of S tier, at least for now, and we'll get into what is going to top it eventually. Damascus Steel is a pattern that looks so much better in real life than it does in the game. I'm not a huge hater of it. I do think that it can look nice, especially since it's pattern based, but I have to put it in B tier underneath the Freehand. You can get this for pretty cheap, but I do think that if you're going to get the Damascus Steel, you're usually better off getting the Vanilla. I'm going to be putting it in S tier for now, but I might move it down. In fact, I think I rated everything kind of wonky. I'm evening out a little bit. Again, it's really hard to do value for money for the finish because I have to look at all kinds of different knives and it changes depending on the knife. Now, Stained is just Walmart Damascus Steel. It's just worse in every way. Some patterns can look okay, but it really just doesn't look good. I'm putting it in D tier. Value for money is going in E. It does not look good. If you're looking for a budget option, just get Damascus Steel or Vanilla. Another thing that looks better in real life than in the game is case hardened. Now, some blue gems, gold gems can look okay, but I think a majority of the patterns look terrible. I would rather have Damascus Steel. I have to be putting case hardened in C. Now I'm going to get people with a blue gem or a fake blue gem in the comments saying, oh, but case hardened is so good, it's pattern based, I have a blue gem, see, I spent all this money on it, it's so good. You're just wrong. It can look okay, but just get a Doppler if you want something blue. I'm putting it in E tier, value for money. If you get a cheap version, it probably looks like shit. Now lore, I think, is criminally underrated. This finish is so nice, especially if you get it on a large blade. It's so intricate, so detailed, such good colors. Lore to me is A tier above the fade. You can also get lore for pretty cheap, so I'm going to be putting it in S tier at the top. Now, if it's beaten by the Autotronic, which I think is another clean and underrated finish. It's super shiny, sleek. You can get it field tested and it doesn't look too bad. Autotronic to me is top of B tier, and it goes right next to the lore in value for money. It's another good cheap option. You can typically get both of these cheaper than the vanilla, which is why I'm putting them above, but these might be your 3 go-to budget options. If you have a blue loadout, the Brightwater can look good, but I think this finish is the epitome of mid. I'm going to be putting Brightwater top of C. I think I would rather have a Damascus Steel. Now that being said, Brightwater is one of the cheapest finishes in the game. If you have a blue loadout, this is S tier, and it can be your best option for a budget knife. Now Crimson Web can hit. If you have a nice pattern, it can be really nice, but again, I think this is super mid. If I wanted a red option, I would probably go with the Autotronic, but I would rather have it than the freehand, so I'm putting it in mid B tier. It's also a similar price to the Autotronic, but I don't think it's as good. I'm putting Crimson Web in A tier just because the good patterns are usually overpay. I have also moved Stain to the bottom of E tier. I don't know why I didn't put it with the stinkers to begin with. Knight is a very underwhelming finish. The blue handle, you don't really get a lot with it. I'm putting Knight in D tier. Value for money is also D tier because you don't get a lot out of it. But its counterpart, the Ultraviolet, the vibrant blue handle, compensates for it a lot. I think the Ultraviolet is actually okay. For that, I am putting Ultraviolet below the Crimson Web in B tier, and it's joining our S tier right below the Brightwater. Now this is our final value for money finish tier list, starting with Lore, Autotronic, Vanilla, Brightwater, and Ultraviolet as our top 5. And this completes our Pure Looks tier list with the Ruby, Emerald, Doppler Phase 2, Gamma Doppler Phase 2, and Black Pearl, who could have thought, being our top 5. Now in the comments, let me know what finish you think is criminally underrated and which is very overrated. Also be sure to check out my music channel, The Bass Alchemist. With that, I have been Blind Thief. Have a good one.